this video, I'm going to show you how to remove the pedals and the crank arms and replace them with new components. So to do that, you're going to need all of these tools that we got here. So you will need the multi-tool that we include in your kit. If you want to use other tools, a socket wrench with a 9/16 or a 14 millimeter socket will work. If you have a crescent wrench that is 15 millimeters wide, you can use that. You'll also need a flathead screwdriver, the crank removal tool that you see here, and brand new pedals and brand new crank arms. By removing the left pedal. And the way to know which pedal is your left one, pedals will either have a label on them that says L, or on the crank arm itself, it'll say L either as a sticker, or it'll say L like a little engraved L like that. So that'll be on the left side. So what you'll need is your multi-tool. Now it's really important to remember that on the left side, it's not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. They're reverse thread, so actually you're gonna be going to the right in order to loosen, like so. I'm just gonna spin that around. Okay, we're going to remove the right pedal now. To do that, you're going to take your multi-tool and turn in the counterclockwise direction to loosen and remove. Our pedal's removed, so now the fun part, we're going to remove the crank arms. First thing you're going to need is your flathead screwdriver. It doesn't have to be a flathead screwdriver, but something with a flat edge like this, because you're going to need it to pop this cap off here. Like so. And just set that off to the side as well as the screwdriver. So that exposes the bolt that's holding the crank arm to the bike. You're going to need your crank removal tool now. So you just need this silver end here that's got the socket in. You're going to fit that over. And you're going to fit this handle over top like so. And you're going to twist that to the left, counterclockwise, and that's going to loosen. These bolts are really tight, so it would be helpful if you have a second person. You'll have the person loosening on one side and another person holding the arm to prevent it from spinning. You're just going to keep once it's loose to a certain point, you can just use the socket head like so. And hang on to that. We're going to keep that over here with our cap. So we've got our crank arm bolt removed. So now we need to remove the crank arms. Again, if you have somebody who can help you with this, it's going to make things much easier because these crank arms are pressed in pretty tight. So having that second person is going to help. What you're going to do is you're going to take this component from your crank arm removal kit, and you're going to thread it in clockwise. Now you can see I'm using my hands to do this, and what's really important is that you align the threads properly. And you'll know they're aligned properly when it's a really smooth rotation like so. If you feel any resistance within the first few rotations, you want to stop what you're doing, remove it, take it out, and then try to reset it and find those threads. These are fine threads, so they're easily stripped, which means as soon as you strip them, you're not going to be able to, it's going to become much more difficult to remove this crank arm. So you want to pay a lot of attention to that. So you can see it's turning very easy for me. And once I hit resistance after probably 5 to 6 rotations, I'm going to stop right there. You just need to get it in a little bit. Next step is you're going to take your handle. You can see we've used ours quite a bit. You're going to put it over top of the flat faces like this. And you're going to take that silver socket attachment and you're going to thread it in. What's going to happen as you thread it in is this part is actually going to press against this axle here. This axle is connected to the main body. And what that's going to do is it's going to push this crank arm off of the axle. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, rotating clockwise. You're just going to slide that in like so. You will have to go quite a ways in, but it should stop right about there. So you're gonna thread it in quite a ways. Now you're gonna take your handle, and I should say you can use this handle, but if you do have additional crescent wrenches, like a 5/8 crescent wrench, that's gonna make your life much easier. So if you do have something like that, or a long adjustable wrench, the longer the better. That'll make things much easier for you. But it does work with this handle. It's just gonna require more force. So what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna take my handle. You can see it's now on this silver piece here. I'm gonna rotate clockwise. And what that do is, you can see how the crank arm is moving away from the body. It's pressing in like so. And now we've got our crank arm removed. One thing you should know, you're gonna repeat these exact steps for the right side. You don't have to worry about tightening or loosening in opposite directions. For when you're removing the crank arm, it's always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so you're turning in the same direction. Okay, so we have our crank arms off. We are going to replace with the new components that we got. So I have a new crank arm here. I am on the left side of the bike. So it's always in the perspective of the rider. So left side of the bike, I have my left crank arm. It's engraved there, L, like so. So I'm gonna fit this on. And I'm gonna check on the other side to make sure that it's aligned with the other crank arm that's there. So I'm looking over here, because you wanna make sure that they're opposite, right? So when you're pedaling, that the one that's always at the bottom is up at the top, like so, right? So it looks like I have that correct, straight down, straight up, so we're good to start. I'm gonna take this crank arm bolt, tighten that, just hand tighten it for now, it's quicker. I'm gonna take my socket here, so that's the crank arm tool. Just gonna hand tighten there, and again, if you have that second person still helping you out, that's great, they can hold the other side. And that'll just allow you to tighten. And you don't want to over tighten these. I would just say kind of go to about there. You don't want to tighten it. You don't want to tighten it so that you can't tighten anymore. You should still feel like you can tighten it a little bit more, but you want to make it easy on yourself in case you have to replace these crank arms in the future. So we've got that tightened on. We can go ahead and put our cap back on. Okay, that crank arm is installed. So now we move on to the pedal. We're on the left side, right? It says L there. We want to check our new pedal that it also is left. So remember from when we removed the pedal that the left pedals are reverse threaded. So that means we're actually going to be tightening by going counterclockwise. So lefty tighty, righty loosey. So we're going to align that. And again, you want to be careful that you're aligning your threads. And I'm turning to the left, counterclockwise. And I'm not meeting any resistance, which means I have my threads aligned. If you do meet resistance within the first couple of turns, stop right there, remove it, and then try to re-thread. Because if you strip the threads on the pedal or on the crank arm, you will need to replace the crank arm again. So you want to make sure that you're not facing any resistance. Like you should be able to move it with your index finger. Okay, and I've got that in a good place, so now I'm going to take my multi-tool. I'm just going to tighten further. Like so. And like so. And again, you don't want to over tighten, you want to tighten a fair amount, but kind of like so. And now you have your new pedal and your new crank arm installed, and you're ready to bike. Just repeat on the other side. Remember that the right pedal is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The left pedal is different. And then you'll be able to use your bike.